activists, and my dear teachers, parents, activists, and my dear friends. Good evening for all the people who for here joining with us in the great event of literature, the Battle of English, which is conducting by our guiding force of literature, Mr. Yogarajah Atchuthan sir. As you know, this event is such a beneficial one for the wise people, where the literature students share their knowledge based on literature towards through the screen. So I'm Balini Shetty, who feels very honored to conduct this today's event. So as a beginning, let's start the time. Firstly, I call Miss Arunavi to talk about the poem, the nature poem "To the Evening Star," to get us a better understand about this poem.
Good evening to you all. Today I am going to present about To the Evening Star by William Blake. To the Evening Star is a poem which was written by the romantic poet William Blake. Before we move into the poem, let's analyze the origin of this marvelous poem for the better understanding. It was originated in the 18th century. We all know that the 18th century was a time period when the industrial revolutions were happened, and it hoisted the bright torch for the country's economy but gave the darkness for the country's people. In this time, many poets tries to escape from their reality and concern about the nature. As a result, many romantic poets were started to bloom. And when we see the poet William Blake, he is also the poet who belonged to the romantic era. And his poem To the Evening Star was written in the purpose to escape from the reality. Here the poet addresses the star evening, and here the evening star is a symbol of love, fertility, and holy. And the poet conveys the star Venus as the evening star. We all know that evening star is a popular planet in the solar system and the sister planet for our Earth. In Roman and Greek mythology, evening star is a goddess, and they pray it to get love, fertility, and it is a symbol for the innocence. Let's analyze the poem. When we read the title, we can understand that the poem Evening Star is a mere description of the evening star, and we all know that the poet is dedicating his own poem to the evening star Venus. Though fair-haired angel of the evening, according to this line, the speaker is giving the human characteristics to the star Venus in order to illustrate its beauty and softness. And the poet further tells the star as an angel of the dusk time. It means the semi-dark time. Now, why is the sun rests on the mountain's light? Here the event of the sun resting in the symbolism for the evening time, and here the now indicates the situation at that moment, and the line is full of the natural elements, and readers can picture us the real beauty of the sunset through this line. But we must have to aware of some things, because the evening time symbolizes the upcoming dangers and darkness. The poet metaphorically conveys the star's beams as a bright torch of love. Her beams are considered as a pure love. Radiant crown symbolizes the star as the queen of the dusk time. Poet requests the star to smile upon the mountainside. Blue curtains are metaphorically indicated as the sky, and the poet requests the star to scatter its silvery dews on the flowers, which shut its sweet eyes in timeless sleep. And it further indicates the lost happiness of many people in our society. West wind sleep on, and it also indicates the lost happiness of many people. The poet tells that in the night times lakes speak with silence, and it shows the miracle and beauty of the evening time, which covered with darkness and silver dews of the holy star. And in the latter part of the poem, the readers can know that the poet deals with the theme that the innocence versus evil ones. In this poem, flocks are described as the innocent ones, and the wolves are described as the evil ones. Poet requests the star to protect the innocent ones from the evil ones. By telling the lines, poet indirectly requests the star to protect the innocent humans from the evil people, pollutions, corruptions, and darkness as well. Let's analyze the poetic techniques in this wonderful poem. When we glimpse this poem, starting of this poem, the starting of the poem indicates the traditional ode format, and it contains 40 lines like the sonnet. But unfortunately, we can't consider this poem as the ode or sonnet. And moreover, when we see the poem's title, it is the direct actresses to the star evening names as the planet Venus. Here, the though means your, and as it was old poem, the archaic language had used in this poem. The poet personified the evening star as an angel of the evening, and give it to the female characteristics. The sunrest is an euphemism which indicate the upcoming darkness. Thy means your personification, and here the personification is used in this poem in many times in order to give the soul to this poem. Drawing the blue curtains is another euphemism which indicate the sky's sudden change for the darkness and the evil ones influencing. Speak silence is an oxymoron. Silver comes many times in this poem in order to address the beauty and the color which is created by the evening star to the night environment. Let's analyze the question from this text, past paper question. The question is, examine how the evening star can be considered as a poem which glorifies the nature. We all know that The Evening Star is a poem which was written by the most famous poet William Blake in order to escape from the reality. And here the poet describes the elements of the nature creatively and effectively. Let's analyze this fact. To the Evening Star is a poem which was dedicated by the Blake to the beautiful planet Venus and the sister planet of our Earth, which seems in the sky as a bright star in evening times. Here the poet takes the elements of the nature as an angel of the evening and monarch of the humans in the night. Not only for humans, but also it tells that the evening star helps the animals and plants in the night as well. And the poet further says that the beams of the evening star Venus is a love of God. And bright torch of love, by mentioning this line, poet emphasizes that the nature has a love of the God within it. Furthermore, Blake Rose, the evening star, has an ability to cure anything by mentioning the line that scattered thy silver dew on every flowers, which shuts its sweet eyes. Shuts its sweet eyes is a euphemism which let us know about death of many living beings because of the negative effect of the environment which was created by the darkness of the evening time. And here the poet conveys that tells that the evening star's holy dew can help the flowers to rest in peace. And moreover, poet tells that the evening star can filter the negativity in our society by smiling over us with a love and happy. And the poet gives the positive impression to the star as well. Poet positively brings the power of the planet Venus, and by giving the characteristic of the planet evening star as holy and fertility, poet gives the nature in the first place to dominate us with its beauty, its love and beauty. So easily we can conclude that the poet wrote this poem as a poem to glorify the nature, and it's the poem under the topic of nature. Thank you for hearing.
Thank you, Arnavi, for your better explanation towards the poem To the Evening Star. Now I'll call Devigan to talk about the prose The Lumber Room.
The Lumber Room was written by Sahi. Sahi's real name is Hector Hugh Monroe. He was born in Myanmar in 1870. And after his mother's death, he and his siblings were taken care by his aunts and uh, by his aunts. His aunts were very rude and strict, and they always give punishment to Saki and his siblings. Because of that, the children became very mischievous and disobedient. The short story Lumber Room is just like Saki's childhood. It shows the autobiographical elements of Saki's childhood. And let's move into the prose. And the protagonist of the short story is Nicholas, and the antagonist of the short story is his aunt. Nicholas is a mischievous boy who stands against the authoritative lifestyle, and aunt is a tyrannical and a dominant character, and aunt demands obedience to the children, and she gives harsh punishments to the offenders. Lumber room is a store where important and expensive items are kept. The starting of the story differentiates Nicholas from the other children, suggesting that he is not only different but also uh, important and interesting. In the beginning of the story, we can see that the children were to be taken to the Jack Burrow sands, but Nicholas is not with them because the thing he made in the morning put him in a disgrace. In that morning, he refused to eat his wholesome bread and milk because there was a frog in it. And the dictions, older, wiser, and better, ironically stands for the adult's world. And Nicholas was saying continuously that there was a frog in his bowl, but his aunt ignored him, and didn't listen to him. The frog was put by Nicholas to show that the adult's decisions are not always correct. And uh, but even though Nicholas's decision was correct, his aunt punished him in a harsh way. This shows the tyrannical character of the aunt character, a tyrannical manner of the aunt character, and the cruelty of the aunt character. And the way he revealed his creativity immediately suggests that he has a very creative and a mischievous mind. And because of the mischievous work of Nicholas, aunt didn't take him with the other children to the Jack Burrow sands, and she refuses him from going into the gooseberry garden. But she knows that she will do it, even though she refuses him from going gooseberry garden. When the other children went out to Jack Burrow, Nicholas planned to go into the gooseberry garden, and he and gooseberry garden has two entrances. One is the main entrance, and another one is a small entrance where a small child like Nicholas can crept out, and the entrance was surrounded with artichokes, fruit bushes, and raspberry cans. Nicholas tried to go into the lumber room, go into the gooseberry garden by using that way, but he couldn't evade the aunt's watchful eye. And the Nicholas, then the Nicholas uh, put the plan into an execution, and he found an important looking key, which is the only way to access the forbidden chamber of secrets, which is the lumber room. And he stole it, and he gained access for the forbidden chamber of secrets. He went to the lumber room and turned the lock by the experience which he got from his school. And he stepped into the lumber room, and he was shocked because the things in the lumber room is the great feast for his hunger in creativity. And he looked around the lumber room, and a tapestry suddenly catches his eyes and fires up his imagination. Huntsman who just killed a stag is in that tapestry, and he was being watched by 4 galloping wolves there. Nicholas thought that there might have been many wolves than the four one, and how the huntsman is going to escape. And he was revolving the possibilities of the scene, and aunt who thought, believing that she must have missed Nicholas when he crept into the gooseberry garden, comes in search of him and ended up falling into the rainwater tank. And she shouted loudly. When Nicholas heard her shout, in a flash, he put everything back normal. He shuttered the books and put it in the right place, and he put the key in back into the right place, and he uh, finally he comes to the rainwater tank. And Nicholas, by using this chance, Nicholas reveals the wrong guidance of the aunt by the concept of devil and the evil one. And the short story ends with Nicholas leaving the aunt in the rainwater tank, and the aunt was rescued by the kitchen maid, and she was in a frozen muteness after that. The little child Nicholas uh, turns the adults' punitive rules against them, and he breaks the authoritative lifestyle, and he seeks his freedom. And the Nicholas mind goes back to the tapestry which he had been captivated by the lumber. And I'm going to discuss the answer for the question. Write an analysis of the aunt's character in the lumber room, discussing her contribution to the central theme of the story. The prose lumber room was written by the famous British writer H.H. Munro, as I said earlier, better known as Sahi. He narrates his prose addressing the generation gap between two generations and the adults' dominance and absence of freedom for the children. Let's analyze in detail in the following paragraphs. The aunt, who is the antagonist of the short story, is the representative of for the older generation who refuses children's creativity and freedom. She is the perfect example for adults' dominancy characteristic. And you are not to go into the gooseberry garden, said the soy distant aunt. In this line, aunt orders the Nicholas not to go into the gooseberry garden, and uh, she covers her error in taking care the children. Uh, and even though Nicholas is standing beside the truth and pointing out her misguidance, she simply turns him off by refusing his joyful moments, such as going into the gooseberry garden. This line perfectly contrasts the dominating character of the aunt as a representative for the adults. She'll soon get over that. It will be a glorious afternoon for racing in about over the beautiful sands. How they will enjoy themselves. In this line, when the little girl cousin scraped her knee, the aunt didn't take that incident even as a matter. She only thinks about uh, brightening writing the disgrace, heightening the disgrace of the Nicholas. Nicholas is happy that there is no cheerful voices or happiness in the revenge expedition, but the aunt doesn't want her plan to be flopped, so that she tries to keep the expedition alive to counter Nicholas by concealing the girl cousin's incident. The aunt treats Nicholas comparatively equal to her in the entire prose. Nicholas is very small boy who doesn't even have the maturity to understand the revenge and the punitive rules. This line clearly shows how old the generation lacks in approaching the children in a kind way. This is one of the main reason for the misunderstanding between the protagonist and the antagonist. And in this prose, Sahi addresses that the Nicholas had not much experience in opening locks. In my point of view, how a boy or girl would be dumb in opening locks, it's a simple thing. But here we can know that how far Nicholas has taken away from creativity and freedom her authoritative by the authoritative aunt, and she doesn't even let children to learn such a simple things like turning locks. At the beginning of the prose, we we were able to see that the Nicholas putting a frog in his bowl and he got aunt's punishment. In there, the reason for Nicholas putting a frog in his bowl can be the continuous serving of bread and milk. Nicholas is bored of eating bread and milk every day. That's why he put the frog to change the repetition of the bread in the morning. From the aunt's unimaginative personality is the aunt's unimaginative personality is exposed. She could have given another food to Nicholas as a change, but she didn't. She follows the regularity and she uh, lacks in imaginative power. And as the conclusion, Aunt, who is the antagonist of the story, is also a biographical element of Saki's childhood. He wrote the prose based on his own experience with his own aunts. Aunt contributes in the whole prose as a villain character. Thank you.
Thank you, Devikan, for your efficacious time to let us know about this prose. Now I call Banian to talk about the poem To the Evening Star.
Good evening, everybody. Today I am going to speak about uh, the analysis of To the Evening Star. To the Evening Star is written by the famous romantic poet William Blake. Uh, he lived in the Romantic era, so he is called as romantic poet. Romantic books usually escape from the reality to in order to change the people's mind from the cruel and the bad situation which prevailed in that era. As we know that in the romantic era there is the industrial revolution, and people were very hard to earn money and worked hard to earn money, uh, because of the machines come in different fields to work uh, unless humans. It gives light to the economy, but it darkens the human values. So this poet tries to uh, escape from the reality and focus on the evening star. Evening star is a planet Venus, which is called as a goddess of love, beauty, and fertility in Roman mythology. So, to the evening star is also the heading of the poem is also a personification because it is start with to the evening star, as the evening star is referred to as a human in this poem. In the first line, thou fair-haired angel of the evening. First, the poet describes the evening star, the Venus, as a fair-haired angel. Fair-haired angels is a metaphor, and uh, it shows that the evening star is compared to an angel, and it was also a personification because angel is a human, so the planet Venus is compared to a angel. In the next line also it shows personification, as the poet emphasized that the sun is resting on the mountain. We also know usually when the sun sets, in the drawings, in the visual pictures, we draw sun like resting on the mountain. So he uh, personified the sun as resting on the mountain. It symbolizes the evening and twilight of the day, and their bright torch of love, their radiant crown. uh, the narrator asks the evening star to put your crown. It symbolizes to get power. He told that to protect the humans and the whole world by your uh, silver dew as the holy water and the brightness and the light of the Venus planet. uh, then he smiles on our evening bed. Usually people works hard in the morning and get rest in the bed at the evening. So you should protect the people who rest in the evening bed to relax and to uh, end up their hard work and be happy. In the blue curtains of the sky, draw us the blue curtain of the sky symbolizes the darkness. It is a euphemism, as narrator doesn't directly says that it is darkening. It is also a negative effect. So readers doesn't want to be panic. Uh, the narrator thinks that the readers shouldn't be panic as the darkness is coming. So he used the technique called as euphemism and draws the blue curtains of the sky. Blue curtain symbolizes the blue sky, and it uh, darkening. So it is going to be night in soon. Saturday silver dew on every flowers that shuts its sweet eyes. The flowers petals are dying, and it is night. So in the morning the petals will uh, regain their and due to the sunlight. So usually a flower starts in the evening. uh, so the narrator told here as a euphemism because it doesn't want to directly say that the negative effect is coming soon. Uh, the sweet eyes is a synecdoche, as the narrator uses a body part or something, a part of something, in order to compare something. In timely sleep, let the west wing sleep on. Usually, a west wing come when the night comes. So after evening star sound in the evening time, after that, after the duration of that period, it will be night. So it figuratively indicates, the whole poem indicates that humans can't live without nature, and its power. and wash the dust with silver. Soon Pulson dost thou withdraw, then the wolf rags white. Uh, it tells that after evening star went away, the moon will come and it will be very dark outside, and the predator, dangerous predator like wolf and lions will come out to eat their prey like uh, the forest animals. In the morning also we can know that who is alive, the predators or the innocent people. So it shows that the innocent people are left over without the nature power to the evening star. The evening star, the Venus is a goddess of uh, love. So the narrator re-emphasized that it should protect the innocent people in the whole world. The fleece of a flux is a metaphor. It is used to refer the humans who are innocent and working hard to earn money. In the last line, the asks narrator asks that evening star should protect them with your influence, thin influence. As this, the poem indicates the main theme under innocent versus experience, nature versus human, and industrial revolution. Okay, now let's analyze the questions of which came under the topic of To the Evening Star. Examine how To the Evening Star can be considered as a poem which glorifies nature. William Blake, as an artist from a romantic era, expressed his divine impression towards nature in the poem To the Evening Star. To get the protection, freedom, and relief which first the people in England after the Industrial Revolution. As such, he glorifies Venus, which symbolizes stars, stands for the nature in the poem. Let's analyze the poem in detail in following paragraphs. In exploring the nature, the writer personifies the Venus with the characteristics of beauty, love, and prosperity. At the beginning of the poem, the narrator addresses the star as the angel of the evening with fair-haired angel, which highlights the beautiful appearance of the star in the sky. It is notable that though that there were many social problems in England, in admiring the beauty of the star, the narrator generates a solution and improvement in their lives. Furthermore, the writer metaphorically compares the world as evening bed. Here, the diction evening universally stands for problems. Therefore, it reveals how stars become a solution for the people and the society who are in danger and dead bed due to the implanting problems. Also, the writer doesn't forget to mention the power of nature over the ill forces of the world as lion and other predators. It is evident that with the diction, their radiant crown and smile, the writer highlights the potential power of nature as a protector, survivor, and a ruler. For all beings in the world, these facts further emphasize how the narrator is confident in the star, as it will show him and his people for all destruction that they are exposed to. The narrator strongly believes that the love too will bring possible solution to the problems. His society is the society, the bright torch of love, indicates his appearance towards nature to be the symbol of love to all people. This theme has been forested using the technique called as enjambment. Also, as I mentioned earlier, it is interesting to note how this love gains power to be the survivor of all destructions. On the other hand, the poem To the Evening Star indicates the power of nature and the negative evil which prevails after the period of time of the evening star. Then as in the line, then the uh, wolf rags white, and then the lion glass through the dun forest. From these lines, it is clear that the two predators and the lion gets power when the representative of nature, the Venus, goes down. So I strongly feel that the world and all living creatures need nature's help as motherkind. Thank you.
Thank you, Banyan, for your wonderful explanation. Now, I would like to call Archana to talk about the poem I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings by Maya Angelou.